If police corruption were the Avengers, civil forfeiture would be their Hulk and Thor, the heavy hitters on the lunchboxes. This is the police's weird right to seize any property they suspect was involved in a crime, even money. And so abuses of civil asset forfeiture are very common. After all, you're seizing property from people who have been charged with a crime, or very often, people who were never charged with a crime. The amount of property taken doesn't have to be proportional to the crime committed, nor do the sheriff offices feel obligated to return anything if nobody ends up being charged, which means you have to hire a lawyer, pay for that lawyer, and then fight like hell to get your shit back and be repaid for the lawyer you just hired. It's theft. And the reason that these cops don't feel the need to return the items is because they directly make money from this process. Under a system called equitable sharing, if a sheriff seizes property that was involved in a federal crime, they can go around any local governments, share the assets with the Department of Justice, and get a chunk of that money back to keep themselves. And the sheriff's office often gets to keep their cut, even if they never legally establish that the property was involved in an actual crime. Which may sound like stealing, but let me assure you, sometimes it is just stealing. To the tune of $68 billion worth of property stolen from the American people in the last 20 years. Take the case of armored car company Imperial Logistics, which transports money for legal cannabis dispensaries around Kansas City, Missouri. Remember, legal. I said the word legal. You can hit that jump back 10 seconds button and check if you don't believe me, but I said it. 5 times in 2021, sheriff's deputies pulled over Imperial trucks for flimsy reasons and seized all the cash inside, even though no one had been charged with any actual crime, because everything they were doing was legal. On one occasion, deputies made away with $165,000. That money goes right to the federal government, skipping the state of Kansas entirely, and the Kansas Sheriff's Office ultimately gets to keep up to 80%. And while Imperial was fighting this in court in Kansas, it happened again with a different sheriff's department in San Bernardino, California. It's functionally legal highway robbery. You know, the things sheriffs were traditionally supposed to stop? This is literally street gang shit. A completely reputable and legal company being robbed repeatedly by the police. And so again, I don't know, maybe before cops want to whine about people being mean to them, they could stop fucking robbing people on the street. I don't care how many dog-men cop mascots you have, it's not cute. Also, who is impregnating all of these dogs with human sperm and letting the hybrid babies go into law enforcement? That seems like a crime too. At least against nature, that's for sure. Of course, in 2015, Obama tried to close the civil asset forfeiture loophole, but wouldn't you know it, AG Jeff Sessions brought it back under President Trump. We could have gotten to reverse the policy again, but no one knew how to say his name backwards. That impish little scamp, he tricked us. But hey, maybe that new guy can change it back.
Under our forfeiture statutes, the government can, take everything you own. Everything from your car to your house, your bank account, not merely what they confiscate in terms of the dollars from the transaction that you've just got caught engaging in. They can take everything. Now, if America's crime problem is worse than it ever was, it's not because the Congress has failed to give the president the tools.
Oh, right, it's the guy who sucks. Well, maybe he'll have a change of heart. Or maybe he'll put out an executive order way too late that only mentions forfeiture once and doesn't directly address it at all. Thanks, Joe. Anyway, forfeiture is another issue we could probably make a video about, and we have discussed it in the past. But we're talking about them sheriffs, baby! Or babies, if multiple infants are watching, in which case, turn this shit off. Just because there are puppets doesn't mean it's good for you. So, this combination of zero oversight, ridiculous profit opportunities, and a general feeling of unwavering power all kinda points to a series of absolute nightmare stories where entire towns are held hostage by law enforcement. In Monroe County, Mississippi, Sheriff Cecil Cantrell vowed to bring law and order when he was elected in 2011, but locals may not have known about the intensity of what he had planned. Monroe County is a community of just 35,000 residents, but Sheriff Cantrell nonetheless subjected them to a non-stop anti-drug harassment campaign. Though the office didn't keep good records, ! Deputies estimate they carried out hundreds of no-knock searches, most of them based on warrants issued by the same judge, a guy named Robert Fowlkes. Now, you may be assuming that Judge Fowlkes definitely went to law school in some capacity, but silly you! Like Sheriff Cantrell himself, Fowlkes was a justice court judge who had specialized in things like officiating marriages before moving up in the system and becoming a go-to warrant guy. During one of these no-knock searches, 57-year-old Ricky Keaton was shot 6 times by Monroe County deputies. He didn't realize that the people entering his home at 1 a.m. were law enforcement and pulled out a pellet gun on them. Before resigning in 2019, Cantrell was also accused of abusing the civil asset forfeiture system. Because why not? Get in there! Hashtag side hustle, grind set, mindset. On the subject of judges, there is of course the fact that cops, not just sheriffs, lie all the fucking time under oath and get very little punishment for it. And yet judges tend to take a cop's testimony as the ultimate truth. And of course, sheriff deputies often double as bailiffs, even in large cities like Los Angeles. And so this all leads to a situation where the line between the people enforcing the law and the people handing down judgments based on the law is extremely blurred. Not only because of what I just said with my supple lips, but for an entire other terrifying reason, which is that there's an absolutely chilling pattern of sheriffs using their authority to change laws or refuse to enforce certain ones. A pattern of political ideology leaking into this already leaky as system of corruption. Hey, thanks for watching that clip. Here's the evergreen end plate to ask you to like and subscribe. It's any day of the year where you are.